I think we both agree, Nikisha Sales, they're going to have to find a way to keep her quiet on offense.
While Walters gets most of the accolades, Nikisha Sales is the true barometer of this team, and her role will certainly change with Ralph on the sideline.
Connecticut in white, Iowa in the dark uniforms. As you would expect, the 6'7" Walters wins the tap. Rita Williams, the Connecticut point guard.
Iowa Hawkeyes pride themselves on their tight pressure man-to-man defense.
Carla Berube, outside, senior, can do so much for this team. Rebound, thought Iowa had it. Durant to Walters. First hoop of the game, Connecticut.
It's UConn team number 1 in the nation in rebound margin. You can see why offensive boards have been so important all season. The second and third opportunities that you have at the basket have been important for UConn.
Dean DeMone, the point guard, will handle so often. Tiffany Gooden, that's Amy Herring. Angela Hamblin. They tried to lob for Herring over Berube, and Carla picks up the personal foul.
Carla Berube, what an impact player she has been. One of the seniors on this team, a role player, makes such a contribution, very consistent player. UConn, though, doesn't have the depth that they had about 48 hours ago. They'll have to stay out of foul trouble.
Many wondering where the minutes that Shea Ralph played will come from. Maybe the starters play more minutes. No Connecticut starter plays over 30 minutes. The point guard Williams, who you see guarding DeMone right now, plays the most minutes, an average of 29 during conference play. Angela Smith. And the rebound for Nikisha Sales, and the Huskies push it.
Transition game huge for the Huskies. They love to run. Sales gets the outlet as well as Rita Williams, and Carla Berube able to finish it off.
Foul on Nadine DeMone. The junior from downstate in Connecticut, Bridgeport. That's about an hour's drive from Stores.
A very interesting matchup here with DeMone and Williams. Both of them rookie point guards. DeMone last year played that off guard. Rita Williams in her first year as the starting guard, filling in the shoes, the very huge shoes of Jennifer Rosati, player of the year last year. So it'll be interesting to see. I think Iowa should put some pressure on Rita Williams, see if they can fluster UConn in their ball handling.
1 for 2 for Berube, a 74% free throw shooter. The Huskies by 3 in the first 80 seconds here in Stores.
UConn likes to mix it up, but they play primary 2-3 matchup zone. It'll be interesting to see how they can rebound when they're in that zone.
DeMone didn't use the Herrick screen. Tiffany Gooden outside, the junior from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Angela Hamblin, who can carry this team at times, an explosive scorer. The junior puts the first 2 up for Iowa.
And here's the full court pressure I anticipated. I like to see that Angie Lee's taking some risks. Nobody has come out and put pressure on this UConn team except for Georgia. UConn got by it no problem, eventually beating Georgia, but Angie Lee wants to take some chances and some risks, force some turnovers and some easy buckets.
97-65 was the Connecticut margin of victory against Georgia when they went to Athens, were pressed by Andy Lander's team. UConn handled them beautifully. The problem with the pressure they'll see tonight is there's one less ball handler without Shea Ralph. Here is Herring inside, blocked by Kara Walters.
Well, we talked about Iowa having the height, and UConn hasn't matched up against a team like this, but same for Iowa. Never this season have they faced somebody at 6'7" who leads the conference and is 11th in the nation in blocks.
That was number 90 on the year for Kara. Here is Tiffany Gooden firing. Walters the rebound. More white shirt. Here come the Huskies. Rita Williams all the way.
Iowa has got to focus on getting back in transition. While they're quick on defense, they're not quick up and down the court.
If the score doesn't come off of defense, get the feeling you'll see Iowa take their time and find a good shot. Smith out high from 17. There's the first hoop of the game for the junior from Chicago, Angela Smith.
And a very happy Angie Lee on the sideline. That's exactly her game plan. Earlier today, asking her what the key against the 2-3 zone is. It's finding the open shot at the elbow. They want to find the open free throw area line.
Sales got past DeMone, and that's what happens when you can't stop the press in the backcourt. 2 field goals for the 6'7" senior who averages 17 a game, and the Huskies back on top by 1.
And we're already seeing the 2 styles of these teams. Iowa setting up in the half-court offense. Not once have we seen Connecticut use more than 10 seconds off the shot
outside shooting team. Out of bounds off of Iowa.
In fact, you look at the greatest teams in the nation right now, and they've got the balance on the inside and the outside game, but UConn only averages about 9 3-point attempts a game, and Iowa even less than that at 8, so you'll see a lot of inside play tonight.
Both teams shoot about 30% from 20 feet and beyond. But both have the size, and this is the first time this season the Huskies have seen this much size. Iowa 4th in the regular season in the Big Ten. Amy Durang tries three. Angela Smith. A lot of black shirts under the board. Connecticut by 1. 4 minutes in. Angela Smith over Tara Walters. And the versatile Carla Berube gets the rebound for Connecticut. And Gina Oriema says, push it. The entry pass for Walters. A little tough to catch. It will be Iowa ball after our first official timeout. Number 1 in the region, number 1 in the country. Connecticut up by 1. Dominion against Purdue. The tournament history for both of these teams. Connecticut, a number 1 seed for the 4th consecutive year, and quite successful, including the national championship a few seasons ago. Iowa looking to get back to Iowa City to play 2 home games for a chance to get to its 2nd Final Four.
Iowa's best finish came back in 1993, lost in the national semifinals to Ohio State. They definitely want to get back on that track.
Gooden, Smith out high. Some of that patience. Where will Iowa go for its points? Shot clock, UC down at 5. Gooden's way away from the goal, has to do something. Herring got her free. And the rebound by Rita Williams. Connecticut back the other way. Carla Berube. Oh, the quick hands of Damone knocked it away. And Iowa comes away with it, but they whistle jump ball. The possession arrow is it to the Hawkeyes.
Amazing, Mike, to see that Rita Williams gets the defensive board, and they're still able to run in transition. Most teams outlet that point guard, get her down the floor as a safety net and to run transition, and they're still out-quicking Iowa down the court.
First sub, Amy Duran sits down, and you saw Paige Sauer, the 6'5" freshman, check in. So Connecticut now goes 6'5" and 6'7". Let's see how the Connecticut version of the Twin Towers works against Iowa.
And I like this lineup for Connecticut. We'll see it a lot with Shea Ralph out of the game. Normally, in the beginning of the season, Sauer would play and sub for Walters. I like the 1-2 punch, though, the high-low post.
As for Herrig, was deflected away, and they say last touch off the sophomore from Dubuque, Iowa. So it is Connecticut ball. Here's Paige Sauer. Freshman out of Oklahoma. Number 41 are back to you. Rita Williams, the point guard, has no numbers, so Connecticut will set its half-court off. Quick first step by Nikisha Sales. Took Hamblin inside. She rode all the way along and forced a personal foul on Sales. First on Nikisha, second on the team, and not exactly a quick start for the 1 and the 9 seed.
Neither team shooting very well. Connecticut prides itself on taking very low-risk shots. This offense is predicated by the fact that they shoot a very high field goal percentage on the season. In fact, good enough to be 2nd in the nation.
50.8% during the perfect regular season for Connecticut. Amy Herrig can hit that shot, and Iowa retakes the lead.
And Iowa 2 for 2 from shots at that 15-foot mark. That's exactly what they wanted to do, following their game plan very well.
Williams breaks the pressure. Carla Berube beats Walters. Kara Walters, 3 field goals. She owns second-round NCAA tournament games. Now 28 of 35 from the field in the second round of the NCAA tournament.
Talk about March Madness.
Is that any good? 80% of her field goals. Nadine Damone turned away by Williams. Nice pass all the way across, and Angela Hamblin puts Iowa back on top.
Beautiful move by Hamlin. The key to getting by the very tall UConn lineup is not to just turn around and shoot the ball. You've got to be quick to the basket, good fake out this UConn team.
Sales left 3. Couldn't finish. Sauer got fouled by Tangela Smith. Well, Connecticut trying to become the third 1 seed to the Sweet 16. Will Stanford get there after Sports Center? The Cardinal and Tara Vanderveer take on Texas Tech, the 8th seed in the West Region. Second round game coming up right after Sports Center at midnight Eastern. And the question, will we see All-America Kate Starbird, who injured her ankle in Stanford's first-round victory? Starbird, along with Kara Wolfson, Shamika Holtzclaw, Keisha Penicharo of Old Dominion, and Delisha Milton of Florida, the Associated Press All-America first team.
And a lot of talk going on about that AP team. Kate Starbird actually got more points than Kara Walters. Kara Walters, the preseason favorite to get Player of the Year. It's going to be a very tight race.
Saw Shea Ralph sitting on the bench a moment ago as the Twin Tower Part 2 picked up the free throw. Paige Sauer, so Connecticut's lead is 9-8. About 7 minutes in.
And the rule of thumb, always press a pressing team. So out of that timeout, Gino Ariema decides to put on the full court press. Now UConn dropping into the 2-3 zone.
Tiffany Gooden outside. Smith from 14. Angela Smith, a great touch on that shot. She's been terrific the last 9 games. Seesaw game. Hawkeyes on the higher side of the seesaw right now.
Right now, UConn has got to compensate and stop that 15-foot susceptible area on defense.
Sauer shows great touch for a 6'5" freshman.
She's got it. That's nothing new, Mike. She has had the outside touch all season long. She loves to step out. She can go 20 feet deep.
Players settling in. Quality of play a little bit better here in the last few minutes, and we keep exchanging the lead. Damone outside for 3. Carla Berube handles for Connecticut, and Rita Williams locates Kara.
Yeah, right now, Kara shooting the lights out, talking to Angie Lee what they have to do to stop her. Her philosophy, as Kara Walters is 4 for 4 from the field, is to not front her, but double team once Walters gets the ball. I think you have to stop Walters from getting the ball at all inside, and that means getting somebody in front and also stopping the vision from the wing.
Shot clock, as you see, inside of 5. Damone fires. The height of Connecticut gets that rebound. Carla Berube. Nice cut. Dish to Walters. Blocked by Simone Edwards. The 6'4" senior from Jamaica says, I've got an answer for 6'7". And the Iowa bench is fired up. Kara Walters is 4 for 5. The rest of the team 1 for 6 from the field. The Huskies by 3.
Once upon a time,
4 of 5 from the field, but had her last shot blocked by Simone Edwards in the paint guarding Walters right now. Keisha Sales, Davy Duran back in the Connecticut lineup. Shot clock at 7. There's Walters again. Got to her that time. It was Tangela Smith with the weak side help. And out of bounds off the Connecticut All-American.
Simone Edwards that time went with a 3-quarter denial on Walters. The lob was open, but great help and recovery defense by Tangela Smith.
Iowa certainly has the size to be competitive with Connecticut's size and size. Sets up as quite an interesting battle.
And because of that, I think you'll see a lot of Paige Sauer. Also because of Shea Ralph's injury, Sauer is going to have to be big tonight.
See, Iowa's been taking a lot of time trying to find the right shot. Tiffany Gooden tries Sales all the way. Sauer's helped defensively. It never hit the rim, so it's a shot clock violation. And Connecticut ball.
And that's just a perfect example of what UConn size can do to Angie Lee's squad. They're having to alter their shots. Normally they could penetrate, dish those right up, but now these smaller players are having to alter.
You see, the answer has been 52. The senior playing her final game here at Gamble Pavilion, and she hopes it's not the final game of the season, obviously. Connecticut hopes to go to Iowa's home court for the regional semifinals on Saturday. Iowa's defense has been good as well. Duran lost it. Now they're in trouble. She stepped on the sideline before she could keep it alive. That's 4 turnovers for the Huskies compared to 1 for Iowa.
Well, and if you look at any weaknesses that UConn has, turnovers is certainly the biggest that stands out in my mind. They average 18 turnovers a game. I think a good team has to be below 15 on the season. They've got to take care of it, make smart, crisp passes.
Arrest for Wilkins as Berube checks in. Connecticut a little smaller now. Paige Sauer, the only non-starter on the floor. Angela Hamblin got all the way there. But the rebound taken by Nikisha Sayles. Weston Sales will be the one to pick up some of the scoring of the injured Shea Ralph as that ball was kicked out of bounds, so reset the 30-second shot clock.
And believe it or not, with more than 10 minutes off of the first half, Sales has been held scoreless so far. There's a look at Shea Ralph, the blonde right behind Walters. What an incredible attitude she has. She's so focused on this team, not worrying about her, but the team has dedicated them winning the national championship in hopes of winning the championship for Shea Ralph. What an impact she's had all season.
Carla Berube is fouled by Tangela Smith. Driving up here from home today, Heather, I saw signs at a donut shop. Not that I stopped at the donut shop.
Oh, come on.
But I saw a sign that said, win it for Shea. And that is the affection that this state has for this team. If you don't live in Connecticut and understand it, it is really wonderful.
It's inspiring. It is Husky mania here. It's just amazing to see the support and how much fun to spend 4 years of your life playing in such a great atmosphere.
Rita Williams from the state gives Connecticut its biggest lead, now an 8-2 run for the Huskies.
Maintaining the momentum of this crowd will be so important. Shutting down the crowd is the goal for Iowa tonight, and they've got to score on this possession to get everybody sitting.
Angela Hamblin does just that. Her 3rd field goal for the most valuable player of the Big Ten postseason tournament at the RCA Dome in Indianapolis. Iowa won that tournament by knocking out Illinois. And Illinois is next to the winner of this game. Wide open, Paige Sauer.
How devastating for Iowa, working so hard on that full court pressure, taking 15 seconds off the shot clock to get an easy bucket. They have got to pay attention to every man.
Amy Herrick, they know she can hit that shot. Nice reaction by Walters defensively. Angela Smith over the triple team, fouled by Rita Williams. Do you think Connecticut's doing okay inside? Sauer and Walters have 14 of the team's points, and many of them coming in the paint.
Well, and what's amazing is the shooting percentage from those inside players. Walters now 4 for 6 from the floor. Paige Sauer, a perfect 2 of 2, so they are taking very smart shots. What Iowa has to do to counterbalance that is move a little bit quicker, especially on their offense. Get it, reverse the ball, find your players open in the paint.
One more shot for Tangela Smith, first team all Big Ten. Last year, her sophomore year, after a slow start this season, she has been outstanding, and part of the reason that this team really turned it around. At one point, Iowa was 11-11. They won their last 7 games, including 3 straight in the Big Ten tournament, to get the automatic bid in the 9th seed.
Mike, I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that they are finally healthy. They've had 3 knee injuries throughout the season, as well as some concussions to Angie Hamblin. So it's key that the chemistry is finally clicking.
Sales now 0 for 3. Herrig the rebound, and Iowa back the other way.
In fact, Herrig got away with a little bit of a travel.
Tangela Smith misfires. Wilkins the rebound, her 3rd. Connecticut +3 with the ball.
UConn looking a little cramped. Have to find the spacing, especially in the lane. When you've got both Sauer on Walters in there, you've got to get high-low.
Official timeout inside of 8 minutes. Connecticut leads Iowa by 3.
Updating the scores as one of the games in progress.
That they've had 9 opportunities under 20 seconds. The type of game they like to play is slow it down and hustle back on transition to try and slow UConn down.
Nadine Damone feeds inside, but Tiffany Gooden had her shot blocked. second block of the game for UConn. Rita Williams gave up her dribble, but bailed out by Berube. The senior from Oxford, Massachusetts, who has been so versatile for this Connecticut team.
A lot of people wouldn't expect that Carla Berube would be a post player, but believe it or not, in practice, she grew up with the forward. She played post in high school, so it's kind of new to her to be out there on the wing, especially with Ralph Shea out. She'll be facing the basket a lot more.
Off the Amy Herrig miss, Rita Williams and the Huskies come the other way up 5. Amy Duran looks like she wants to shoot. It finds Berube. Lakeisha Sales cutting to the goal. Walters the rebound. They'll call her over the back. And Kara can't believe it. She's got 10,000 friends voicing her opinion.
That's just Kara's first personal foul at the beginning of this season. Gino Auriemma said, "I guarantee you, Kara Walters will never foul out of a game this season. That's because he's got Paige Sauer. Take another look. She reaches over the back, gets a little bit tangled with Herrig, but that just looks like an aggressive move to me."
It's a bad call. Connecticut by 5 with 6.5 left. It's also tough for these officials, I would imagine, because you don't see many 6-7 players officiating the women's game. Big East officials get used to Walters, and I would imagine it's new for them as well. Now this time on Angela Hamblin of Iowa.
That's a foul that you can't be disappointed with. She was just going hard to the basket. Iowa has got to be aggressive on the boards. In fact, talk about being aggressive. They are 2 and 9 when out-rebounded, so that's certainly a key. They've got to hang tough with UConn. They were actually out-rebounded against NC State on Saturday, but they did prevail with a late-minute surge.
They beat the 8 seed from the ACC 56-50. Williams nearly lost it, but kept it alive. Amy Durant beats Walters. Double team. Kept it alive. And got fouled by Hamblin.
Kara Walters is certainly having to work hard for everything she gets. The entry pass is easy because Iowa is playing her honest 3-quarters. You see she gets it wide open, but Smith and Herring do a great job of collapsing. Herring goes straight up, not drawing the foul, forcing Walters to miss the shot. But the key on the missed shot, Iowa has got to box out, get the defensive board.
Walters has done the most offensive damage in the game tonight. Just the 15th foul on Iowa. Not in the act of shooting, so the Huskies will inbound with a fresh shot clock and 5:51 left here in our first half. Amy Duran hands to Carla Berube. She got fouled on the way to the goal. She was shooting, so it will be 2. Well, the men's action continues. Great NIT game before us. West Virginia won. Will Notre Dame out of the Big East keep it going? They're home to take on Philly Tubbs and TCU. And then Oklahoma State in Ann Arbor to take on Michigan. NIT second-round doubleheader coming up tomorrow night. One more free throw for Carla Berube, 12th in Connecticut history in scoring. And closing out her senior career on a hot streak.
Berube has been so consistent all season long. There's her parents, very proud parents of the senior.
Berube and Walters playing their final home game here tonight. They've lost just once at home. An incredible, incredible record. Susan Coring off the bench. She can provide some outside shooting. The senior from Stanwood, Iowa. Makes it a 5-point game. Quick step by Berube. But Smith did a nice job keeping her away from the rim.
And that shot will certainly frustrate Berube. Yesterday in shoot-around, she missed about 4 gimme layups, and it really got to her and affected her. She's got to make a couple to get that confidence level back up, because the quick step in the drive looks great.
Made 7 of their 21 field goal attempts, so they are struggling from the field, but within 5, now within 3 as Simone knocks down a 2.
Simone, who started the season very inconsistent with the position change, finding her groove, has become the team leader, but still has a shot. A lot of point guards lose that in the transition.
Into Kara Walters, gets the second try. Good things happen when 52 touches the ball for Connecticut. The Huskies back up by 5. the ball so often for Iowa. Steal by Rita Williams with Nikisha Sales. It is Williams fouled by Corey.
Previous possession by UConn, while Walters may be shooting lights out from the field, 5 for 9. Look at the impact she's made on the boards. Her offensive boards have been spectacular. 3 offensive boards, 6 total for the senior, who I would think would have a lot of emotions running through her in this game. I thought, boy, it's going to be so important for her to come out and be focused. With Shea being out, with this being her last ever game here in Gamble Pavilion.
Rita Williams, one more free throw. There is Will Walters.
And Will Walters actually responsible for teaching Kara the hook shot. And there's Mom Liz, very proud. And then you look at Willie Walters, who's also 6'7". He played at BC, and he was out on the playground throughout Kara's growing up, teaching her that little baby jump hook.
You talk about a basketball family. Will played at Boston College, as you mentioned, has that great jump hook. Mom scored 50 points in a high school game.
Not too shabby. Mom at 6'1". A lot of height, but believe it or not, Kara Walters' 2 sisters are a measly 5'9". Just for a run.
Easy for you to say, measly 5'9". You heard the nice hand. It was for Missy Rose, the senior, number 10. She checked in the game for Connecticut. Tangela Smith misfired for Iowa. The Hawkeyes are getting colder by the second, and the Huskies are making a run. Bad pass by Nikisha Sales.
And a good sign for Husky fans that the Huskies are able to make this run with Sales being held clear. She has absolutely no points in this game, 0 for 4 from the field. She does, however, have 5 boards.
See what Iowa does for an offensive answer. They'll try Tiffany Gooden. I told you 4 3-point shooting out of bounds. Good hustle by Missy Rose. The crowd favorite and another one of the seniors gets the fans to yell. Texas in '86, perfect in the regular, perfect in the postseason.
And they'd one-up themselves. If they did win a national title this year, they'd be 36-0. Amazing 4 consecutive 30-plus win seasons for Gino Auriemma.
Of course, one of the big keys in the '95 championship, Rebecca Lobo in the studio with Mimi and Robin coming up at halftime, and Kara Walters and Paige Sauer trying to earn another ring for Connecticut. Now they lead by 9, largest advantage of the half.
Iowa right now has got to be patient, work that half-court offense. Don't let UConn set the tempo. I think the team that sets the tempo throughout this game is going to be the one who comes away with the victory.
Shannon Perry's in the right corner for Iowa. Her first time in the lineup. Perry travels.
The interior passing just phenomenal. Look at Berube get it right inside, and then the back and forth from Walters to Paige Sauer. What a combination they are. I bet Auriemma wishes he could have Walters and Sauer play together for a few more years. Points in the paint, that tells the entire story, and to couple that, the rebound, 21 for UConn and just 8 for Iowa. Paige Sauer continues to dominate. She does not look like a freshman.
Connecticut by 11, an 8-0 run in the last 2.5. And Iowa is totally out of sync. Nice save by Damone inside, and a travel on the Hawkeye.
The 1-2 punch for UConn. The interior is just unstoppable. Iowa having so much trouble. Look at how unselfish Walters is. Shows a big hand wide open to Sauer. When Walters is on the court, Iowa's going to collapse on them. Willie very happy with Kara Walters' performance so far, opening up Paige Sauer.
It is a 20-second timeout for the Hawkeyes. For those of you who've been watching the men's tournament all weekend, just a reminder, you get one 20-second timeout in each half in women's basketball and 3 full timeouts. So where will Angie Lee come up with the answer for what these 10,000 folks have been up on their feet for a good part of this first half? The Twin Towers of Connecticut. Paige Sauer and Kara Walters carrying the load here. Matter of fact, they're outscoring Iowa.
And how do you combat that? I think what Angie Lee needs to do is get Nolan Edwards into the game. They've got fouls to give, bump around a little bit, make more of a physical presence inside.
People saw Wake Forest and Stanford in the men's tournament yesterday. That's exactly what Stanford did to Wake Forest. And they wore down Tim Duncan in the second half. The Connecticut's interior play showing no signs of wearing down. Herrig to Coring. Gooden inside. Got the basket, got the foul, and that ends a long drought for Iowa.
And that's just a rookie mistake. Paige Sauer just a little too excited to go for the block, but Tiffany Gooden is so physical and strong inside, doesn't have the height advantage at 6 feet against Paige Sauer, but watch her go in hard, right up, gets inside, uses her body to get inside Walters and the basket. Walters does a good job with the help recovery, and Sauer just gets her from behind, and Gooden's so strong to be able to convert.
Missed free throw for the former Miss Indiana. High school basketball player of the year out of Fort Wayne. So the Connecticut lead is 9 as we get inside of 80 seconds. Rita Williams, the point guard. Tough pass for Walters to catch. No mustard on it. 7th turnover. Coring now handling the ball for Iowa. And Perry, can they find offensive answers? No. Williams ahead for Berube for 2.
That's exactly what Carla Berube needed. Convert on the free throw on the transition. Great court vision by Rita Williams to push the ball up the court.
Fans always react a few seconds later after the Berube hoops. Oh, quick release by Susan, scoring her 2nd field goal, and she has provided some spark off the bench here for Iowa as we're now 26 seconds to the Lee Jeans halftime report. And Gino Auriemma will take a 20-second timeout because he knew that we needed to spend a moment to remind you that Robin Roberts, Mimi Griffin, and Rebecca Lobo have the Lee Jeans halftime report coming up. Updating the game that's going on ESPN2 with Notre Dame in Texas. Tennessee continues, and unfortunately, one of the storylines of this NCAA tournament, the continued injuries.
Offense, which is usually Iowa's strength, has really helped out UConn with Sales, still scoreless with 15 seconds to go.
Shot clock is off, so 1 for UConn if they still choose. Nikisha Sales. There's her first field goal of the half. And what an end to the half for number 1 in the nation, Connecticut. Walters had 10. Sauer had 10. The Twin Towers lead Connecticut, and they lead by 12. Now time for the Lee Jeans halftime report with Mimi Griffin and Rebecca Lobo. Here's Robin Roberts.
All right, Mike, thanks again. Always giving you guys top billing. I love that, Mike. I know you do. Good thing that I'm...
Walters and Sauer have just dominated. In fact, 16 of their combined 20 points have come when they've been on the floor together. So with the superstar Walters, Iowa collapsing on her, and she has found Paige Sauer wide open.
Sauer did all that work in just 7 minutes, and Paige starts the second half on the bench. Connecticut back to its original starting 5. Nikisha Sales, a quick cut to the goal.
And every time UConn has the ball at the wing or the high post, you've got to watch that back door. I was surprised they didn't do it much in the first half, but that's vintage Husky basketball.
Nikisha Sales missed her first 4 shots. She hit the last of the first half, the first of the second half. And Nadine Damone, the Connecticut native, needs to get going for Iowa. That's her 2nd field goal, and it's back to a 12-point margin where we were at the half. Nikisha Sales for Connecticut. Now pass to Amy Duran. Remains scoreless in Iowa's Angela Hamlin got the rebound, and here's Damone. Angela Smith. Hamlin had 6 points in the first half. Hamlin and Smith led the team in scoring. They turn it over this time.
It was so important. Iowa took great care of the ball in the beginning of the first half. However, it's gone downhill since. Right now, 6 turnovers for the Hawkeyes.
Carla Berube inside now has 9 points. She averages 11 per game. And Connecticut has hit 7 of its last 9 shots, making Mom and Dad Berube quite happy.
So important for Iowa against this 2-3 zone. The way the Augusta zone is you've got to hit from the outside, and their perimeter has been so quiet. In fact, so quiet they normally average 20 points. Tonight they've only got 4 from the perimeter.
Is out of bounds off of Tangela Smith. Here are the numbers from the first half. Connecticut strong, so many goals from in the paint, so the 50%. to the line much more as well. And as you mentioned, Heather Cox, neither team a good three-point shooting team, just 30%, witnessed by the number of three-point attempts.
And that's not a surprise, and I don't think that's a factor, but I do think that Iowa has to step out from that 12-foot line and extend their game to open things up on the inside. They've shown that it's just totally clogged. Their points have come from Hamblin and Gooden, as well as Smith, but they've got to extend to DeMone.
Here is Tangela Smith, got around Walters, and now atop the Iowa score sheet with 8, the junior from Chicago. Back to a 12-point margin. Rita Williams, the Connecticut point guard, gets her shot blocked by Smith, but got it right back. Here's Durant for 3. Halfway down.
You know, we talked to Oriema before the game and yesterday. How do you fill the shoes of Shea Ralph? What do you do as DeMone gets fouled? And Oriema said, you know, I really don't know. And he had no idea going into this game who would pick up the slack. Amy Duran, usually the person to come off the court when Shea Ralph would come on. And Amy Duran's been quiet. We thought that she'd maybe have to step it up a level. But what we've seen is Paige Sauer has played phenomenally. And then they've had a very balanced offensive attack. Their superstar, Nikisha Sales, has been quiet, but the post-game, unstoppable.
Inside, Amy Herrig had her shot turned away by Berube. Walters and Herrig to the deck. Back the other way, it's 4-on-4. Berube for 3. 12 for Carla. Connecticut by 15. It's their largest lead. Timeout, Iowa. Mom and Dad and the other surrogate parents who've adopted these Connecticut players enjoying watching Carla Berube, the senior from Massachusetts, her last game at home of 15.
Pizza Hut employee memo number 44. For Hoops fans, March brings one number to mind.
4.
As
It's in the Final Four.
Right. So we're going to give them a deal that's easy to remember.
Back to work, everybody.
Give them a large pizza, a Pepsi, buffalo wings, and breadsticks.
That's 4 things
4 things?
for 4 people.
For $4 each?
Yep, that's 4 things.
For $4 each?
For 4 people.
You guys are quicker than a point guard. Of course, once fans hear about this deal, you're not going to have time to work on that hook shot.
Oh.
Cozy, huh? Whoa. Bedroom? No way. Security? Close to transportation! Classic fixtures. Ooh, what do we have here? Bud Light. Go ahead. Got your name on it. I'll get my own.
Hawkeyes are down 15 here. We mentioned earlier, 2 Big Ten teams on the road took top seeds to overtime yesterday. The number 1 seed, Connecticut, having success. Rita Williams forced the steal. Nikisha Sales finishes. And the foul.
The teamwork between Rita Williams and Nikisha Sales, unbelievable. Look at her push the ball as it gets away from her, and Sales able to go for the 3-point opportunity. Nikisha Sales so strong to the hole, incredible athlete. Talk about success, and look, still having contact trouble. In fact, great story on Saturday night against Lehigh. Had a fast break as well. Lost her contact midway at the half-court mark, went the rest of the court with her eyes closed and still got it in.
You saw her father, Ray, grandmother, Irene Pittman, cheering the junior, who will be one of the candidates for Player of the Year next year. She's one of the candidates this year, one of the 12 Naismith finalists, along with her teammate, Kara Walters.
Nikisha Sales has really been the Grant Hill of women's basketball. You look at Sales, and on any other team, she'd probably be Player of the Year, definitely first-team All-American, but she's played behind a Player of the Year every year that she's been here. It started with Rebecca Lobo, then Jennifer Rosati, now Kara Walters, the definite media attention getter.
8 points now for Angela Hamblin. The Grant Hill comparison's great because it was like Leitner and Hurley, the big player, and the great point guard, and Rebecca and Kara, the big players.
But look at what Grant Hill's doing now.
Kara Walters continues inside. Her first field goal of this half. She has 12, but it's been a tough night for Jenny Knoll, who's back in off the bench, and all the big players for Iowa. Now a 25-10 run over the last 5 minutes of the first half and the first 4 and change here in the second half. Hamblin the rebound. Back-to-back field goals for the junior.
Well, Hamblin is 6 feet. She plays like she's about 6'3". She's got incredible leap. And I like the lineup right now that Angie Leach put in with both Edwards and Knoll. They've got fouls to give. They can bang. They've also got the height to try and get in there and get the edge on the boards. Right now, Iowa with 17. UConn has 22, and 8 of them coming on the offensive board.
Well, will it be a good day for the Big East? Notre Dame leads at Texas as you watch the other scores go by. Vanderbilt and George Washington, the first teams that are not a 1, 2, 3, or 4 seed to move on to the Sweet 16. How about playing the Fighting Irish on St. Patrick's Day, huh?
Sounds good to me.
Susan Coring, watched by Berube. Coring hit a couple of hoops in the first half. Hamblin trying to make it 3 in a row. Nice rebound by Simone Edwards. Could not finish. UConn the other way. And see the versatility of Sales, able to handle and make a point guard-like decision to reset.
And that was the biggest loss, I think, with Shea Ralph, is that Oriamo loses a ball handler. That's the one weakness that they have, was their depth at guard to begin with. And so it's been interesting to watch the other players step up, Berube, Duran, and Sales, with their ability to take control of the ball.
You feel for Susan Coring of Iowa, who was called for the tie-up, or thought she should have gotten a tie-up call, I should say. It was called instead for the personal foul.
Number 22, Susan Coring. Her third personal foul, second on the team.
Shannon Perry, the junior, will come in. Perry played the majority of the second half of the Big Ten championship game, Iowa's win over Illinois.
And what an incredible job she did defensively, really shutting down Illinois' Big Ten most valuable player in Ashley Bergeron. But nobody able to shut down Kara Walters. She is just on fire. The big girl is hot.
7 of 11 now from the floor.
Walters just so fundamentally sound. Look at how well she handles the ball. Power dribbles. Very rarely do you see her take that power dribble. She likes to turn and face, keep the ball high, but she feels her defense on her hip, goes the opposite way, and now has the chance to convert.
And it's not like Jenny Knoll is not a great defensive player, but Will Walters has taught his daughters so many great post moves and plays, and I'm sure you'll hear as it looks like Connecticut will advance, although we still have time here as the tournament goes on. They swoop inside for Simone Edwards. Kara Walters learned so much from Rebecca Lobo as those two worked in practice constantly. And now Paige Sauer is on the other end of that, learning from Walters. Nearly a great pass from Kara, but just out of bounds. It'll stay with UConn.
You talk about the understudy. Paige Sauer has talked all season long what an impact that Kara Walters has made on her game. In fact, she decided to come to UConn strictly to become a better player, practicing against Kara every day. I mean, there's no better incentive than that. You don't want to play against him. You want to play with him and learn.
Sales lost it. Now 9 turnovers for UConn.
While UConn has struggled with turnovers, Iowa has 7 of their own, but UConn has taken advantage of those turnovers and scored, whereas Iowa has no points off of UConn turnovers. They've got to be able to convert on UConn's mistakes.
Offensive foul on Jenny Knoll. Illegal screen on Kara Walters.
Perfect example. Iowa just missing the opportunities. Offensive boards and not being able to convert on the turnovers. Those two things could clearly change the outlook of this game.
Walters sits for a moment. Stacey Hansmeyer, 6'1" freshman out of Norman, Oklahoma. She's in the lineup. Number 20, you see her trying to set up on the low box on the left-hand side.
Hansmeyer, a very physical player, just 6'1", but plays like she's 6'4".
Hands to Berube, who's just as versatile.
Carla Berube knows how to turn it on and when to turn it on. She recognizes that she is at the end of her career here. 5 of 7 now, 14 points. Against Lehigh, she led her team as well. 17 points on Saturday.
Travel on Nadine Damone, and there's not one answer right now for Angie Lee's team.
Carla Berube doesn't look to the hole a lot, but when she does, she makes the most out of it. Plays a lot like a Jamila Weidman, the point guard at Stanford, who she actually played against in high school, played with in AAU. The two of them have a very similar slashing, penetrating style.
Carla takes a moment to tie a shoelace. Rita Williams just killed some time with the dribble. Now ready to run a set play. Deflecting off of Stacey Hansmeyer. Tough pass for the freshman to catch.
And Williams actually a little gimpy off of the land from that pass on her right ankle. Looks like she's fine. Actually had a scare yesterday as well. Went down hard, hurting her knee, scared everybody in the gym. Gino Ariema was a bit to be tied, thinking that his second player had gone down, but she popped right back up and is fine. No worse for wear.
Angela Hamblin. Now 3 field goals here in the second half. 12 points. That's double figures for the 16th time this year, and the Connecticut lead is 17. Hansmeyer got her player in the air, got to the basket, got the hoop and a foul.
Stacey Hansmeyer is such an experienced player. Spent the summer with the junior national team, won a silver medal in that championship. Hasn't had a lot of PT here. 8 minutes a game. But look at the little give and go, the shake and bake, good pump fake. And this is what UConn basketball is all about. The crowd, the stands, everybody went nuts, especially the bench. Love to support their teammates and see the bench do well.
Hansmeyer played just 19 minutes in the last 5 Connecticut games. She was playing more middle part of the season. Steal by Berube. Whole host of Huskies with her. Carla takes it herself. There's Jennifer Rosati, the former Connecticut point guard, on hand to cheer on her team, her alma mater. Now up by 22. Nadine Damone and Iowa have just struggled to score points in this half. Jenny Noel misfires. Simone Edwards rebounds for Iowa.
They have to stick to their game plan, and that's patience, set up the half-court offense. They've got to take a low-risk shot, though. I think they're forcing a little bit too much.
Hamblin jump stop. Rebound for Edwards.
Simone Edwards, the native out of Kingston, Jamaica, believe it or not, is in her 6th year as a Hawkeye. Granted, another year of eligibility after missing 2 seasons with knee injuries, so she's making the most of her time in Iowa City.
Season-ending knee injury in 95, missed 6 games in 96, or played 6 games, I should say, in 96, and then suffered another season-ending knee injury. But back on the floor and averaging 7 points a game here this year. Shot clock running down, and an offensive foul before the shot clock violation on Paige South. Well, Jen Rosati, she's joined her old former teammate Rebecca Lobo, working in the media, covering the undefeated #1 team in the country.
Title IX, a United States federal law. Section 106.41, Athletics. No person shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, be treated differently from another person, or otherwise be discriminated against in any interscholastic, intercollegiate, club, or intramural athletics.
Every 10 seconds or so, a stop sign goes up somewhere in America. And every 30 seconds, a traffic light goes up. It's as hard on your car as it is on you. It's stop and go. Stop and go. Stop and go driving. Use Pennzoil. formulated for today's stop-and-go driving. Stop, go, Pennzoil.
We've got the ultimate deep dish, almost a full inch thick. Get a medium with up to 3 toppings, just $8.99. Any second pizza, $4.99.
You look at a garage a lot differently when you see who it belongs to, especially Sears Garage, where right now you can get free installation on all road handler shocks. When you need a good garage, take a look at ours. Sears Auto Center.
We want to send you back out to LSU, Baton Rouge, the number 4 seed. Closing minutes of this game. Latasha Dorsey inside to Elaine Powell, LSU's leading scorer. And right now they have things in control. Also another second-round game in the East. It's all tied between Notre Dame and Texas, under 12 to go. Back now to Storrs, Connecticut. Heather Cox and Mike Trinka.
Robin, thank you. Beth Mowens and former UConn Husky Megan Patterson calling a great game over on the Deuce. As you look down on the UConn fans who are looking to see their team go to Iowa City, where Illinois would wait, the top seeds have all advanced over in the Midwest region, Colorado, Tennessee. One matchup already set for the regional semifinal Saturday, and you'll see that on ESPN2 and ESPN every game the rest of the way till a national champion is crowned. Damone misfires. Amy Duran the rebound. Amy Duran yet to score tonight with 3 rebounds and an assist for the sophomore out of Maryland.
And Duran leads her team in three-point shooting, but they just aren't having to take shots from out there. They're 2 for 4, and they're just getting so much production on the inside as Walters comes back into the game. Sauer now taking a break. Actually, check that. The Twin Towers remain. But they just haven't needed that perimeter shooting, and Iowa desperately needs it.
Not many offensive answers for the Hawkeyes. Shot clock reset. Ball is kicked out of bounds. Paige Sauer down low.
Paige Sauer doesn't play like a freshman, and there's a reason for it. Actually, when she was 14 years old, she moved to Oklahoma. They didn't have a big-time basketball where she was from, so her parents said, hey, let's send you to a city that has good basketball. So she's been away from home and plays with maturity.
And she just blocked Amy Herrick's shot. Herrick, though, gets it back, and a foul as Tangela Smith tried to go to the goal aggressively.
Sauer already doubling her season average on the season, averaging 5.8 right now. As you see, 12 just hot. She has taken care of her roommates' point totals. Shea Ralph averaging 11 points a game. The 2 of them roommates. She's certainly playing with a lot of heart for Shea.
Freshman Mary Berto misfired just off the Iowa bench as the Hawkeyes look any place for a scoring answer. Berto's a 35% three-point shooter. Iowa down 22. Rita Williams, the point guard. And the rebound for Tiffany Gooden in Iowa. Hawkeyes have a lot of work to do, and they're running out of time to do it in.
And the fact that they like that half-court offense, run the shot clock out, doesn't favor them. Now they need to score points quickly, work their offense.
Nice catch by Duran. She had nowhere to go. Reset sails for 3. And Iowa on the rebound. Iowa looked like they were going to battle on the glass, and they have. UConn considered the best rebounding margin team in the country. They out-rebound their opponents by 12. Thus far, Connecticut 28 rebounds, Iowa 24. So the Hawkeyes holding their own on the glass. Haven't been able to get many easy hoops. Tangela Smith gets inside. Now she's in double digits with 10 points.
Tangela Smith, another player that fires up in the NCAA games, a lot like Kara Walters. In the 3 games she's played in her career, she's averaging 12 points, 8 boards, a little above her season average of this year.
Amy Duran finally gets one to go. The 39% three-point shooter has the Huskies up 23.
Nadine Damone really trying to take charge of this team, play the quarterback, be the leader on the floor. She's got to continue to do that, run this offense, and keep her troops motivated.
Tangela Smith was fouled inside as Rita Williams dropped down for defensive help.
You know, you look at this Iowa squad and you think they're so tall, they've got such interior strength, but they don't take a lot of trips to the line, not very aggressive.
Not much has worked for the Hawkeyes, who are down by 23.
I try and turn their frowns upside down and make them happy by the end of the call. Basically, treat the customers as if they were the only customer you ever had. Well, it's hard when you have a tough customer in the day and you feel like you couldn't do everything you could to make them happy. So you go home and you think of ways to make them happy, and then you call them the next day and say, hey, this is what I'm going to do for you today. Will this make you happy?
Recently, Barbara O'Neill faced a financial problem that could have cost her everything she worked so hard for. She called 1-800-CHAMPION for our Clean Slate program. Leonard described how Clean Slate could replace her unmanageable bills with a payment she could easily afford. Barbara said she slept well that night. She stopped by to say thanks to some good friends.
Notre Dame extending that 2-3 zone, not wanting to give up an outside shot.
Ossenmeyer off the mark.
They don't mind giving that one up.
Good job by Notre Dame there.
Will he take two times?
McMillan. This is Morgan. Bailey staying very close.
Evil day.
Bowman. Around Smith. Boy, Roseanne Bowman has been sensational tonight. 14 now.
Great patience. She caught the ball.
Strong all day long.
Robin Roberts back in our ESPN College Basketball Studios. Have one score to update you on. LSU is back in the round of 16 for the first time since 1989, where they will face Old Dominion. They had defeated Marquette 71-58. Back now to Storrs, Connecticut with Heather Cox and Michael Tirico.
Thank you, Robin.
Thank you. Very good, Heather. Okay. The Marathon women continue in the studio. Robin, Mimi, and Rebecca. I think they were there about 30 hours yesterday with all the great games on the deuce. UConn senior class, they've only been here 4 years. They've been pretty good in this building. They've been pretty good overall, but look at the numbers. The national championship year, the junior year, the one loss at home to Georgia, and perfect at home this year. They've only lost one game at home in this last 4-year stretch. Now on Connecticut and Rita Williams.
You know, Mike, you talk about that unbelievable stretch for the seniors. Well, Carla Berube started it early. In fact, her final 2 years in high school went undefeated, did not lose a game, and only lost one in her sophomore year, believe it or not, to Rebecca Lobo's high school team. That makes Carla Berube 202-8 in the last 7 years as a basketball player.
It's unbelievable.
Not shabby.
It's a loss a year. I mean, a little more. Angela Smith will get one more free throw. There are Carla's parents.
Well, they're still looking a little bit nervous. Time to loosen up, guys. Your daughter's playing great.
Probably also the anxiety, because they know that this is the last couple of minutes they'll watch their daughter wear 31 for Connecticut on this floor.
Press a must right now. You've got to force the turnovers. Try and get some quick points.
Broken without too much pain. Walters missed the little hook, and Amy Herrick came down with the rebound. The sophomore out of the Duke, Iowa, sends the Hawkeyes back the other way.
And just a heartbreak for Iowa. Smith not able to convert. That's the first time we've really seen them transition the ball, push the ball up the court, get the easy look at the basket without having to battle the huge UConn monsters, and they still can't get the two.
Couple of minutes on the bench for Rita Williams. What a great save by Nikisha Sales. Nadine Damone tipped that so you can come back and get it, but just 4 on the ticker. Shot clock down to 2. I guess that would be a shot clock violation.
Didn't hit the rim, did it?
No.
Nikisha Sales, you look at this team, she has been such an important factor, averaging 16 points a game, but you look at the depth, she's got 8 points now, wasn't a huge factor in the first half, and UConn still able to go to its bench and just dominate.
Sales only 7 points, 3 of 10 from the field, and Connecticut's up 22. People question the strength of the Big East and wonder if UConn is tested as much as some of the other teams, Southeastern Conference teams, for example, as Sauer travels. But every time UConn's been tested out of the conference against one of the high-profile teams, they've come up with a very, very impressive effort.
Well, they've got huge wins this season. Georgia, Kansas, Tennessee, Western Kentucky, and Notre Dame, all out-of-conference wins for Gino Auriemma, and that's just very impressive.
Gino Auriemma saw something he wasn't happy with, so he wants to talk about it, and we'll step aside for a moment.
Tradition says the only thing stronger than steel is more steel. Of course, the only thing heavier than steel is more steel. This is the aluminum space frame invented by Audi and Alcoa inside the all-aluminum Audi A8. 40% lighter than steel, it's also stronger and safer. So much for tradition. The future of the luxury car has arrived.
Anything else?
No. Yes. No. Well, maybe. If you're not busy, maybe we can go get a cup of coffee.
Lee Riveted. Cut to be noticed.
What if your car slips off the road in Slippery Rock? Or you need the name of a mechanic in Mechanicsville? Well, if your car's insured by State Farm, just look up the local State Farm agent. Almost anywhere you travel, whether it's a big metropolis or just a little one, a good neighbor is always nearby to help. So if your car gets stolen in Thief River Falls, or you have some trouble in Paradise, hey, don't worry about it. State Farm is there.
Happy St. Patrick's Day from Connecticut. The Fighting Irish and Notre Dame involved in a tight one with Texas. Could be a good night for the Big East. Here's the game summary of our second round Midwest regional action. Connecticut up by 22. They've scored 20 more than Iowa in the paint, Heather Cox.
And the field goal percentage so high for the Huskies because they're scoring so much in the paint. Those are very high percentage shots. Also, Iowa only has gone to the line 5 times in this game. They average about 16 attempts from the charity stripe. They have got to be aggressive, penetrate, draw the fouls. Nobody for UConn in foul trouble right now.
Tiffany Gooden tried to shake free and could not. Shot clock at 10. Tangela Smith misfired. The athleticism of Sales knocked it out of bounds. Damone over and back. I think she would have been able to go back and get that ball. I thought it was Nikisha Sales who tipped it back. The frustration for Angie Lee.
Take another look. See if anybody in a white jersey touches it on its way. We don't see, but there she tiptoes the line. Backcourt violation. Another turnover for Iowa.
Each team is giving it up 12 times. Great save by Sales, but Iowa comes away. If you haven't seen Nikisha Sales play, you're seeing a little bit tonight, even on a poor shooting night, why she is so heralded. The former USA Today High School Player of the Year has the ball out of Bloomfield, Connecticut.
And playing a little point, Rita Williams getting her rest. Sales showing off her ball handling ability to run the floor. Not this time.
Angela Hamblin the turnover and the take for 2.
And those are the first 2 points by the Iowa Hawkeyes off of UConn turnovers. UConn's turned it over 13 times, and Iowa hasn't been able to convert until now. You think about those other 12 missed opportunities, that's 24 points. You're in this game. You're leading.
Great point. Paige Sauer gets fouled as she rolled down to the basket. So it looks like this 1 seed will move on. Will the number 1 seed in the West region get to the Sweet 16? Stanford at home taking on Texas Tech. It comes up right after SportsCenter at midnight Eastern. You see Stanford all the time. Heather, your thoughts on how they're playing?
Well, I think they're playing great. They've battled a lot of injuries. With Starbird not in there, it will be tough. She's still questionable. Tara Vanderveer will decide once she's warming up, but they've still got Vanessa Nygaard, Naomi Mulitoa-Pele will come back and start. Heather Owen's still out, but they've got Charmin Smith. I mean, I could go on forever. They've got 10 people that can come in and contribute. And if Stanford wins tonight, it'll be their 10th Sweet 16 consecutive appearance. Tara Vanderveer, what a dynasty she's created.
For those of you who happen to be peeking ahead, Stanford and Connecticut are on opposite sides of the brackets. If they were to get to the Final Four, the only way they would meet would be in the championship game. But there are a whole bunch of teams who say, hold on, we've got to get through us, like North Carolina and Old Dominion et al. Nadine Damone hits a three for the first time in some 9 minutes. Iowa is under 20 in the deficit. And now it's 16 as Tiffany Gooden.
And 2 for 2 now on turnover conversion. UConn's been plagued all year, not being able to take care of the ball.
They break the press this time, and Nikisha Sales moves up to 9 points. Now make it 10 points. Well, the three-pointing that Iowa does not do very well. Coming back here, Damone has hit back-to-back threes.
Smart by Nikisha Sales to back it out. Saw Iowa getting back on transition defense, but Gino Auriemma not completely satisfied. In fact, very upset, wants to take the 20-second timeout, get his team back together. They may have the lead, but he is such a perfectionist, never satisfied with anything less than the best.
So Iowa has made its last 4 field goals, and the Connecticut lead, which was as high as 23, has been whittled down to 15. So Iowa still some life here with 3:58 left.
And Iowa has certainly picked up its defensive intensity and quieted this UConn Gamble Pavilion crowd. Everybody sitting down, pretty quiet. Look at the reset. Both teams have 2 full timeouts. Iowa with 1:20. Team fouls just hasn't even been an issue in this game. 1 more to give for Iowa.
Iowa substitution back in the lineup under 22, Susan Corey.
Rita Williams is the only player in any sort of foul trouble, and her 4 fouls, one of the reasons Nikisha Sales was running the team for a few minutes. Williams is back with those 4 fouls and now finds her way to the free throw line, and she got fouled.
And Coring actually picking up her 4th personal foul, so instantly we've got 2 players with 4 personals, but Coring has made an impact really trying to ruffle some feathers on defense, which is a surprise because she actually played 6-on-6 basketball in Iowa. It took her a good 2 years to even learn how to play defense, but that's her role on the court right now.
You mentioned Coring, the last 4 Division I players who played their entire high school career in the state of Iowa playing 6-on-6 basketball. Lisa Brinkmeyer of Drake will have a redshirt year, so she'll have 1 more season to play. But those 4 players, the last of part of a great history in the state of Iowa, the 6-on-6 high school basketball for the ladies. And for those of you not familiar with it, can't cross midcourt. 3 players can score. Nobody can dribble more than twice. Defender can't swipe the ball outside the free throw line. Oklahoma had it as well for a while. In 1993, they were the last of the 6-on-6. Long three misfired by Tiffany Gooden.
When we talk about that 6-on-6 game, it's an entirely different sport to me and such a disadvantage for the players out of Iowa because college coaches just don't come into the state to recruit.
And now with most of the teams playing 5-on-5, they do. Iowa's done a great job here getting this down to 14. Credit the Hawkeyes, a 13-4 run.
Well, you know, Mike, I hate to sound cliche, but Angie Lee's the first one to admit that defense wins championships. That is what won the Big Ten championship for them.
Berube knocks down a 3, and Carla Berube has 19. She had 17 last time out. The senior is scoring on her way out of stores. Coring, the player we were talking about, is the last of a dying breed, the 6-on-6 players. She's going to sit down as Nadine Damone comes right back in for Iowa.
And Iowa gets a fresh shot clock, which is huge for them. Another opportunity to try and catch up. What a line for Carla Berube tonight.
Berube averages just under 11 points per game. Season high, 21. Gooden blocked by Walters. Just kind of next.
Nonchalant.
Third block of the night for Kara. And the steal by Sales, and Nikisha had 9 thefts in the opening round against Lehigh. Game still tight in Austin. Texas scoring as we speak. Great crew in the studio keeping an eye on it. Sales all the way.
Iowa has got to know that every time that ball goes into the high post, whether it be Walters or Sauer, they've got to to stop the slasher. Nikisha Sales loves that backdoor cut. Help and recovery defense, so important for Iowa.
Final couple of minutes, if Iowa's going to do anything, they've got to hoist up some triples here. Gooden from the free throw line. Rita Williams, 5-7, goes up and gets the rebound. Connecticut has this game in control, and in the next minute or so, the seniors, Berube 31, Walters 52, are going to come out of the game for the last time here in Storrs, and they're focused on what's going on the court, but in a moment or two, you'll see the emotions of what is truly the last game of a great four-year career for Berube and Walters. In the interim, the junior Williams. Rebounded by Nikisha Sales. Backing it out. Williams nearly lost it. Called a timeout before she fell into the backcourt after she got popped in the face by Nadine Damone.
Talk about dedication. Rita Williams doing whatever she can not to get the turnover with the backcourt call, so much so that she bumped her noggin on the way down.
It is a full timeout. Connecticut's out of 20, so we'll step away for a moment. The emotion still coming up from Storrs.
We've got the ultimate deep dish, almost a full inch thick. Get a medium with up to 3 toppings, just $8.99. Any second pizza, $4.99.
I really do have dandruff, so I did it. I took the Dinner-X test. Dinner-X tingled. Head and shoulders, nothing.
All these have effective dandruff medicine, but Dinner-X has something extra that tingles, feels fresh.
You won't see me scratching my head in Miami.
Dinner-X, the serious dandruff shampoo.
There is a girl being born in America, and somebody will tell her she is beautiful, and somebody will tell her she is strong. Somebody will tell her she's precious, and somebody will say she is tough. There's a girl being born in America, and someone will give her a doll.
Stepped up her production. Kara Walters dominated the first half. It's part of the reason that Connecticut is up 17 in the final 100 seconds.
What's so impressive about this UConn team is they change their mold. They're different. They play the role that they need to for each opponent, so it's so hard to scout them. Every time out, it's a different look.
Berube was fouled inside. Pretty interesting battle. The entire UConn bench is trying to get a foul called on Nadine Damone every time she guards Rita Williams. A little more physical battle the last few minutes. Tangela Smith's third foul sends Berube back to the line for 1-1. And a lane violation on Connecticut. Give the ball back to Iowa.
There's a look at Missy Rose, and to her left, Sarah Northway, the two other seniors on the squad that have contributed so much to that incredible record that we saw. Only one loss at home in Gamble Pavilion in their 4 years.
Rose, a tri-captain. Northway transferred in here. There's Simone Edwards inside, playing her last moments of basketball in all likelihood.
Right here.
Rita Williams gets fouled in the backcourt. So Connecticut has a 17-point lead, the 1 seed comfortably up with 75 seconds left here in Storrs.
With Connecticut having things well in hand, we're going to take you out to the East game between Notre Dame and Texas, and Austin, Texas, a much closer game. Megan Patterson and Beth Mowens with the call.
Beth Morgan at the line, 8 for 10 from the stripe, gets the first. Morgan now has 24. Katrina Gaither with 29 for the Irish. It's Danielle Viglione leading the way for Texas with 5 threes and 19 points. Right now, a 2-point lead for the 6 seed over the 3 seed. And Morgan was fouled on the three-pointer, so she'll get 3 shots at it.
Shook her head saying, I do not miss foul shots.
The senior from Bloomington, Indiana gets 2 of 3. 1 possession game, 3-point lead for the Fighting Irish. It's an 8-0 Notre Dame run, triggered by Morgan's play. Vanessa Wallace. Nice pass to Littleton for 2.
That final score that you saw earlier here on ESPN, 72 to 53, so it is back to the round of 16 for the top-ranked and still undefeated team in the land. Connecticut will move on to face the Illini, Tennessee, and Colorado moving on as well. In Connecticut, you heard about Shea Ralph, of course, the ACL, and once again, the adversity, Rebecca, and they come through.
They came through. The big guys picked it up, but the player I was most impressed with was Carla Berube. She stepped outside, hit her three-pointers, played with so much exposure. She was very impressive tonight.
Yes, very impressive. She's a senior, and that's her last game at Gamble Pavilion. We've got a wild finish, you know, going on between
and only 54 turnovers. That is the best ratio on the team. Connecticut comes into this game without a rising superstar, freshman Shea Ralph, who blew out her knee, averaging 11.4 points a game. She was their best free throw shooter. She was the first sub off the bench, and they will have to deal with that lack